Hello, everybody. It is Penny and Kim lighting up your Friday once again with the 5 stars of strengthening families. This week, we're going to continue talking about knowledge. And so that's in particular knowledge of parenting and child development. But before that, we're going to have Penny do a check-in.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. We always love to see the numbers of views. Hope that we're reaching people. So last week we talked about how do you know what your children need as they grow. So how do you seek out resources? How do you know? So we invited you to look at your own experience as a parent, your family, and look at how that looked for you. You know, do you feel pretty comfortable? What resources are you using? Are there any resources you might need? And how you might go about looking, checking out those resources. So we gave you some ideas on our website. It's an excellent place to look. So yeah, I hope you all were successful in taking that small step. Or if not, when you're ready. Yeah. FCSS has been around for last year was our 50th, right, Kim?
I think so.
We're not going anywhere. Take your time. We'll be here when you need us. So today, so talking about parenting specifically as the knowledge component, we're going to ask you, what comes naturally to you as a parent? And why do you think that comes naturally to you? So Kim, I'm going to let you start.
Well, the first thing that comes up for me for sure is playfulness and laughter. That is definitely what I bring to my role in parenting. And why? It's just always been there. It's always been, I think my parents were, especially my dad, very playful. And my dad, I think of my uncles actually, and they're all very, very playful. And we always did things together as a family. And so maybe that's where it comes from. I'm not sure. I don't know really how to answer the why. It just always sort of was there, even through the tough times. So I think I was very fortunate in that. And I've just naturally brought that into my own family as well. Another one that I can think of is the mother bear. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good one. I think if I look at it as a role in advocacy, advocating for my children, then I think yes, it is. But when the line gets crossed into the mother bear, then not so much. So let's just focus on the advocacy piece. And again, I think that was more my mom. My mom was that person in my growing up. So I guess the answer to the why would be that's because that was my experience growing up, maybe. How about you, Penny?
Well, I wonder too, listening to you, that mother bear isn't maybe a little bit instinctual as well, right?
Yeah.
Because you refer to a mother bear, and a mother bear is not thinking about why she's mother bearing. She's just doing it because she knows it's necessary. So that's interesting, hey? Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going when I listen to this question. I think about naturally, that word naturally, I think about that sort of instinctual sort of stuff being part of it. So we talked a little bit last week about connecting. You know, how do you know what to do as a parent? Okay, well, part of how you know is instinct. So I think that kind of ties into this too. So naturally, I'm a nurturer, right? I nurture, and I think there's a little bit of both, because I wasn't nurtured as a child myself a tremendous amount just because of circumstances. So consciously, I work on enhancing my already innate ability to nurture. Yeah. And I think specifically in my family experience, tend to be quite externally calm. So nobody even wants to know what's going on in my head, but I have a natural ability to project a very calm level sort of, oh, you've sliced your face open and you're bleeding all over the place. Well, let's just get some pressure on that and call 911. Whereas the dad is a little bit more, right? So that comes naturally to me. Yeah. And there's lots of things that don't come naturally, but that's one of the things. Those are a couple of the things that that come naturally.
Two things from what you've said there are, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes we end up partnering with somebody who can bring to the relationship what we can't, right? So that calm, that even keel, is something that my husband brings. I tend to bring the excitement and the laughter and the, intense fun and all of that kind of, and he brings that more even keel. And so that's what you're explaining there in your relationship too. And then the other thing is that you said, that I wanted to comment on, you said that you didn't have that, was it the nurturance growing up? So there is an example of how there can be or positives that come through from not experiencing that in your own life, right? So a situation that wasn't so great at the time has made you become this nurturing person. So that's a bit of a gift there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
oftentimes we don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. So we touched a little bit about last week on recognizing what you don't want to do, and it is very hard not to parent reactively, and because when we parent reactively, we're basically parenting the way we were parented. So, I mean, on a good day, it might be 60-40 for me, but it is a struggle, but it's something, to think about, breaking cycles. It takes a lot of courage and perseverance, and you can, like you said, that's totally right. You can learn, right? We can spend our time blaming our parents or the people that raised us, or sometimes we can try to maybe, think back to know better, do better, and try to apply that to ourselves. Okay, well, I know this, and again, based on my capacity today, because my best looks different every single day, and it's always based on my capacity to give my best. So there's no sort of golden standard or a level that's, today this might be my best, tomorrow this might be my best, right? And not using that as an excuse, but just as reality. Yeah. Pardon me.
I love that, because it's cut yourself some slack. Love that. Yeah. So what is our challenge for today then? For
this week, we're going to ask you to notice the seamless moments. So here's something interesting about our lives, about human beings. When things are going along well and seamlessly working, we have a tendency not to pay any attention to that. And then when we get the hiccup or the bump in the road, or we yell, or whatever it is we do that we judge ourselves harshly on, that's what we focus on, right? So what we're going to invite you to do this week is, when you go to bed at night or when you wake up in the morning, whenever works for you, take a minute to look about, or to reflect on what came naturally. Look at those seamless moments when your family was flowing, when your dynamics were flowing, and give yourself some credit for that, because you know what? Even though it seems like it's happening seamlessly, you're a part of what's happening. You're probably the main part of what's happening. Your thoughts and attitudes, and it's all part of what makes a harmonious atmosphere. So we really want you to notice when things are going well and give yourself the credit for things that are going well. Notice those things that you do well, because we all do something, probably more than one thing. And if you notice something that didn't go so well, like Kim said, cut yourself some slack, do your repairs. Tomorrow's another day. I'll try again.
There's a lot of power in noticing the positives, and it's basically almost the same as giving gratitude for that, right? The more you realize that you're doing it, the more you focus on that rather than the negatives that we often do. So it's a great challenge.
Yeah, and not in a Pollyanna kind of way, because there are some days when you might go to bed and go, you know, nothing went well today. Maybe the one little positive in that is that you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a germ. There's something there. You're aware of it. And your awareness means you can make a change if you choose to. So it doesn't have to be grand, people. Sometimes at the end of the day, all you can do is brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a sunny and, you know, hopefully sunny weekend. And thanks for joining us. We will see you next week at 1 o'clock.
Have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.